Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Finance Bible podcast.
Before you get into it, please note that nothing in this podcast should ever be taken as personal financial advice.
And if you are seeking financial advice,
please reach out to us as we can direct you to many individuals in the industry.
Welcome back for another episode of the Finance Bible podcast. Today, we've got a little something up our old kahuna for you.
Kahuna, right? I was going to say sleeve, but today is all about wealth building accelerators and how we can build wealth at a fast pace instead of, it's one thing to put a plan together and build wealth over a 30, 40-year time frame, but are there avenues of building wealth quicker than other people?
Do you want to work until you're 60?
Me? No way. And I think many other people out there, if they had the choice, would definitely not work until they're 60.
Fun fact, number one question and number one answer when meeting clients in real life today. Ideally, given everything made sense, in an ideal world, when would you like the opportunity to retire and or slow down work?
They all
not have to work
yesterday.
5 days. Boom. Yesterday number one answer.
So what this podcast or this episode is about is we all know everyone out there doesn't want to work until 60, unless you really love your job, which is awesome. But, you don't want to do the 9 to 5 every day. You want to enjoy life, go out on boats, go
out on boats.
All I'm thinking is Europe at the moment, because you go on your Instagram.
Everyone is
on your Facebook and everyone is overseas. So they're all on boats. So what I'm thinking is literally a boat. But, you want to go to Europe. You want to go traveling, you want to just have fun, spend time with your family, look after them. If you have little kids, take them to the park, mate. Just enjoy those moments.
Fair enough.
Getting very deep, aren't we? But
this episode is for the people who want to retire before 60. We're talking 30, we're talking 40, we're talking 45, and anything in between that and 60.
Before we get into it, as everyone knows, Zeke knows, myself, the cryptocurrency market, as well as the stock market right now, is in quite a bit of a dip, the current market conditions. And our friends over at CoinSpot are obviously still trading and going well and actually getting quite a few new customers. So if anyone out there is still wanting to join up and learn a bit more about the cryptocurrency space and have a few safer trades through CoinSpot, I'd highly recommend jumping on our link, which is in our bio. Go to the CoinSpot section, go straight through to the page, sign up.
Get that dosh.
And that could even be a wealth accelerator as well, depending you invest the correct way. Where we'll start is cash. A lot of people say cash is king, which is true in some aspects, but not in all aspects.
Cash is trash.
Yeah, I know you say cash is trash, and I'll give you the mic, mate, to explain why cash is trash.
Thank you very much.
Is that a bit Elvis from the other night?
I don't know. I fell asleep.
That is from Elvis.
We did go and watch Elvis. I fell asleep.
Yeah, so did I, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I can't do movies after 8 p.m. I literally can't.
All right. Cash is trash. Why? I'm of the view, if you've got cash, and Oscar, I believe you share the view. If you don't, tell me. Tell the listeners, really. But if you've got cash, good. It's there. Have it for emergency fund, rainy day protection.
Yeah.
A little buffer. Keep it for, spending a bit of dosh here and there. But apart from that, it's useless.
Yeah, look, I do agree. It's, especially now in the market and in the world we're living with
inflation.
The inflation, everything is increasing in price. If you have cash in your account and you hold it there for a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's literally eating away every single month. So I would look for, what I do, if you have a short-term savings plan, say you need to save $20,000 and you have a few months, probably recommend keeping it in cash because you don't want to risk investing and losing your money. Also, if you just have a bit of money in your wallet or in your bank account just for everyday activities, that's fine. But if you're on a 3 to 4 to 5 year plan of building wealth, cash isn't the way to do it because you are losing value of those dollars every single month. What we want, especially at the Finance Bible for our clients and listeners, we want cash to work for you and grow instead of it shrinking. So we want to put your cash to work so that you can compound your cash. And then with that compound that is grown on that cash, we can continue to put that into other investments down the track.
For the March quarter, the annual inflation rate went up to the highest it's ever been since the GFC 2009.
What was that,
Australia.
around 5%, was it?
Yeah, CPI 5.1 roughly. And then you trimmed annual inflation, or trimmed mean annual inflation, was about 3.7. That doesn't take into account big rises and falls in particular price ranges. So either way, if you've got cash just sitting there, you're losing that value every single month or every day or every year, whatever you want to calculate it on. If you've got that invested, not only then do you not lose that money, you additionally get the actual growth of the asset that you've invested it into.
Yeah,
So,
and for anyone who's confused about you're losing your cash, your dollar figures in your bank account isn't decreasing. It's the value of your dollars in your bank account that's decreasing.
correct.
So if you had $1,000 in your bank account in a year's time, you have the same, but the value of that $1,000 is completely changed.
It might be 970.
Yeah, so it's decreasing, and that's why we are strong believers of putting that into assets, wealth creators, investment properties, stocks, shares, whatever it may be. And with all this, risk, and especially a part of our job, a big part is risk management and trying to minimize the amount of risk on the table for our clients, because when it comes to money and investing, risk is a big part of everything.
Especially when it comes to cash. Extremely risky people, cash could be king, because you might want to just have a bunch of cash, go to Vegas, blow it all in one night if you're that risky.
All on red.
Yep, all on red. Sounds too familiar. The other thing is, cash is also important for people with low risk, because they might want to have more money in cash. They don't want to invest it. They're too scared. The fact of the matter is, you're probably going to lose your money. Inflation is going to eat away, and that's that. How can you limit your risk if you are one of those people that want to hold a bunch of cash? You can invest in different areas, also known as diversifying. So you can have a bit of cash, bit of fixed interest, bit of property, bit of shares. If you can't afford to buy all of them at the same time, you can buy portions of them. Like BrickX is a good company in Australia. In terms of shares, there's low price shares, there's ETFs, there's Spaceship, all of that.
Yeah, there's always affordable platforms. So we'll jump back before we continue with the risk with CommSec Pocket. So when I started investing in the ASX, which is probably 3 to 4 years ago, I used CommSec Pocket. Reason being, there's no minimum deposit amount. So when you actually invest through CommSec itself, I think it's a $500 to $1,000 minimum buy-in for purchasing a stock, I think.
It's $100 on CommSec Pocket.
Yeah, and on CommSec Pocket, it's $100.
Yeah.
But on CommSec, it was $500 to $1,000. So it's a lot more affordable, and there are avenues you can, like Spaceship and Raise, etc. too.
The next thing, which I think a lot of people in today's world anyway, older people out there, you'll definitely agree with me. Younger people, maybe not so much. Work ethic is a huge thing for fast tracking your wealth. I've noticed that some people, their work ethic is almost non-existent in today's day, basically. I've met people who will just not work. They're terrible. They suck. But other people I've met will be on the grind and working hard. And I guarantee you, every time you've got someone with a good work ethic, with a brain, or even someone that's just found something they really like and do really well, if you put in the hard yards, you will get rewarded, especially then if you put in the hard yards and go and do it on your own or find a way to profitize it more.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, increasing your income is basically the key to accelerating your path to wealth. So if your income at the moment's, in your eyes, not too attractive of what you're wanting, that's fine. Just continue to grind. Have a chat to your employer and say, this is my goal for 2, 3, 4 months. How can I get there? And they'll let you know what you need to do to get to that level. And it's more likely than none that they're going to put a plan in place to help you reach that. Because we all have goals. At the end of the day, none of us really want to be working for someone their whole lives. Everyone has their own goals and aspirations and business ideas too, which I'm sure. So maximizing your income at these stages are actually key. So the more income you put in, the more dollars that will work for you in the long run.
Another one, which I think is extremely underrated in today's society. I don't know what it was like back in the day, but I've noticed surround yourself with people that are going to have a positive impact.
110%. I'm a massive believer of that. Like literally, in the past, I've surrounded myself with,
Bums.
not bums, but people who don't share the same mindset. And, because you and I both like to hustle. We like to build brands and kind of get everything in place so we don't have to work till we're 60. So you're probably the same. You know a lot of people and you used to hang out with a lot of people who were in those situations.
Can confirm.
Yeah, and mate, very similar. But yeah, surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, have the same goals and aspirations, they will motivate you. And you're stronger as a pair, as a group, however many people are like-minded with you, the more the merrier. But that is a key to building wealth, and that also works with networking. So, because networking is a big part of all this as well. It's not what you know, it's who you know. There's a lot of wealth accelerators out there in today's world. Making money in this day and age is a lot easier than it was 50, 100 years ago, because a lot of people are just sitting in their bedroom, a one-bedroom apartment, making a business online, and 6 months later, they're billionaires. So there's always an answer to building wealth. But we've come up with a few different ideas, which personally we're extremely strong believers of. And first things first, number one on that list is investing. And that's investing in property, real estate, brick and mortar.
Investing in anything really is fine. The reason we've said brick and mortar / property to actually accelerate your wealth is the leveraging capacity that you've got. We did an episode on leveraging. I highly recommend going back and listening to that, understanding how it works and why it is the best tool you can use, full stop. Property, it just kickstarts everything. If you're leveraged up, instead of earning money on $100,000 of shares, you can earn money on $600,000 of property. Do the math, it's going to be simple. The property could be returning 4%, shares could be returning 10%. You're going to make more on the property.
And obviously with investing in property, a lot of people are quite skeptical about it, because the question is, what if I don't have a tenant? What if the rent isn't paying itself off with the mortgage repayments? And that's where research and analysis and also contacting the right people out there will help you source these properties, which number one is we want to make sure rent is paying the property down itself, and also giving you a bit of extra funds there. Secondly, make sure it's tenanted. But there's always good areas, bad areas when it comes to investing. And that's where research is key. It's like buying a share. I'm sure if you're going to put some money into the share market, you do your research in the companies before you go in, or even an ETF. It's the exact same with property.
The next one, and we're starting to get to around the 15-minute mark, so we'll try and make it briefish. Creating a business, your own business. Now, it might not have to be you sitting down and planning, okay, I've got to create a business. How do I do it? I'm stressed. I don't have the time. It could be as simple as, and what I've noticed is majority of people's businesses actually start out like this. Get a side hustle. Find something you enjoy doing. And then over time, you're going to get really busy doing that over, it could be months, it could be years. Focus on that. Let it build up, and then when the time comes, you can choose to go full-time and quit your full-time job and prioritize the business. A lot of people are scared to make the leap from full-time to business. So if you really kind of do your business part-time as a side hustle until it's ready to be full-time, then you've got that safety and security. You're getting an extra income. Happy days.
Yeah, especially if you have a family, that's a big thing to think about. But, the good thing about going out on your own, having your own business, is the earning potential for you is uncapped. So the harder you work, you can literally reach any income that you desire. In your current job, your 9-to-5 job, your shift work, whatever it may be, you are capped to a salary. And obviously you may get bonuses, you may get pay rises here and there, but that's not the point. The point is, you want to reach financial freedom. You want to retire before 60 if you have the opportunity. And the way to do that is go somewhere where there's uncapped potential of increasing your salary. And that is where having your own business is the way to go. And look, going out on your own obviously quite confronting for a lot of people. And that's where mentors, other business owners come into it, and they can help guide you and teach you along the way, or even getting a business partner who's similar mindset, like we were saying earlier. But there's all these avenues to make these experiences as easy as possible.
The final takeaway, and it's associated with that point, is the more you invest, the more money you make, the quicker you can retire, reduce your workload, or whatever your plan is. To invest more money, there's two ways to do it. One of them, you save more money to be able to invest more money. Guess what? If you're on 80 grand a year, the maximum you can invest is 80 grand a year. You could cut back your expenses as much as you want. The most you could invest is 80 grand a year. That's you spending $0, paying zero tax.
Hang on. I was going to say, we haven't taken the tax off yet.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do it accurately then. 80 grand, you're paying 20 grand in tax with the Medicare levy and everything.
So a bit of groceries.
10 grand on food, 5 grand on travel, 3 grand on, in insurance and that kind of stuff. Best case scenario, let's say you've got 40 grand remaining. Guess what? You can invest 40 grand. Are you going to? No. You're going to go to restaurants. You're going to get some alcohol. You're going to have a good time. But you've got 40 grand a year. You invest it. Cool. There's your 40 grand a year. You can save a bit more money, get it to 50 grand. Good luck.
Yeah. Everyone has this opportunity. The way it works and what separates the wealthy from the working class, the average, is everyone's given the same set of cards. It's just how you play those cards literally figures out if you're going to win the game or not.
That's a good way of putting it.
Thank you very much.
Every dollar that you increase of your income is an extra dollar that you can invest to build that wealth long term. Although saving is important and cutting expenses back is important, what's more important is making more money.
If it makes money, it makes sense.
That is my second favorite saying.
What's your favorite? Cash is trash?
No, that's not even top 20.
Top 20?
Yeah, I've got a lot of sayings. Number 1, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And on that note, before we get to the next 19 sayings of your top 20 list, we'll cut it there. And obviously, if any of you have any questions at all, contact us on Instagram.
Now, if you love our podcast and if you're listening to it, I dare say you do, or even if you love us, don't forget to jump in there and leave us a 5-star review. Whether it be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, there's a bunch of other random things that we get listens on.
Google Play. I think we're on Listen Notes as well, whatever that is.
Yeah, there's a few things that we're on. Leave us a review on all of them.
Yeah, every single one.
Feel free to jump on, give us a follow on at the Finance Bible on Instagram,
TikTok. I think we're on LinkedIn, Facebook.
Bit of everything.
And YouTube coming soon, hopefully.
Just get around the boys and support us. We'll catch you next time for the next episode.
Have a good one.